Oh, maybe.
100%.
Did you get my name? Can I finish that? Did you finish that? Yeah, how'd you do? You did it. You just gotta practice, right?
Sit.
Yeah, that's what he is doing. It's okay, we're good. We're definitely doing our best.
And we are live, it looks like. Tell me in the chat if you guys are seeing us okay. Live at the Campout, live at the camp scene. Enjoy the memes as we check to see if we're actually making it. Looking good, we're getting, oh my gosh. All right, well then with that, hello everybody. How's it going? We're cooking, we are making contacts. We got the buddy hex up. Where's Shane? Shane, you there? Shane just did 75 QSOs in about how long?
45 minutes?
45 minutes, pretty good. Pretty good. Tell me, we're running off of a weird mic here, so if you guys, is it good? Audio quality's good? Let me know. All right, here's the rest of the folks. We got, I'll pan around here a little bit so everybody can. Yeah, look at this crowd. And Leia is working on the meal, but we also got our grill master here. Darren's grilling it up, making it happen. All right, guys, how's it going? Appreciate you clicking on the show. Looks like things are going okay. Let's see. What am I using for the internet? I am using an internet hotspot device, and I have a, I can show you actually. So here's the internet, and this is connected to on top of this corrugated roof above us, and that is what I'm doing for internet. 720, I might have been able to push this to 1080, but I didn't want to risk it, so we just went 720. Also, we're fighting a losing battle of charging. Unfortunately, this laptop for some reason has, like, I don't know what happened, but it's not taking a charge very well. So we're hoping to get through as much of this as we can. So let's see. I'm looking at the comments. Appreciate you guys leaving the comments. Couple of potato dishes in the ovens. We've got Adam's oven, the Camp's oven, and I bought one of the same ovens from that Adam recommended. Adam's here too. Where's Adam?
He's over there.
There he is.
You know what I like to do? Get on my phone when I'm watching him.
It is a garlic chicken marinade with what we know now is called funeral potatoes. We've always called it sour cream potatoes in my house that Leia's figured out the recipe for. There's no crunchy topping, but it's very similar to that. And what else? Salad?
Green beans, Caesar salad, roll.
Green bean Caesar salad roll.
All your favorite things.
All my favorite things. Cheers, everybody. So this is kind of like my birthday weekend, so everybody, that wasn't the excuse to trick everybody to come out here. We're actually playing ham radio.
We were tricked.
You're all tricked. We did just do a giveaway, though, so if you weren't here, we gave away some pretty cool stuff. Where's Caesar? Caesar got probably the best. Oh, man.
Wow. Woo! Fire in a hole. Call Cal
Shut it
Fire.
Live fire.
Call Cal Fire. Yeah.
What happened?
They're very, a lot of creatures. Burnt.
Woo!
They're like I'm low, too. Minimum. Wow.
Yeah, turn it off for right now. Hey, Leia. We might need another round of chicken.
That'll be good. Oh, these are well done. Don't worry. That'll be good. They're well done.
I'll eat them.
Happy Thanksgiving. It's crispy.
They won't go to waste. Conan can eat them.
Yeah, Kona will eat them. We got Kona, our guard dog, here, too.
Conan.
Here's some water.
There he is.
This was a drive up. So this is a campsite that we're at in Ramona, California. one of the reasons why we're here is, one, it's incredibly RF quiet, and two,
That is available.
there is,
He says that's all.
it butts up right to the Cleveland National Forest, so it's technically a POTA, so we can POTA from here as well.
And this one. Sorry. So I'm trying to get it to eat the chicken skin right at him.
Yeah, it's the fat.
Yeah. Well, it's got a lot of sauce on it too.
Yeah. Typically, the dark meat is typically the fat. Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. I'll eat it.
So it's, yeah, we're good. All right. So everybody here, by the way, these are the shirts that Leia made for the Campout. Everybody here got one as well. But I'm running FT8, by the way. I'll be up on FT8 here shortly to make some contacts with you all in the chat. But so far, who's activated that has wanted to activate?
Right here. Oh, hide it.
All right. So we got who else?
Yeah.
You guys all activated? I know Shane activated. You activated? Okay. Excellent. The goal here is to get as many people activated as possible, because this is a pretty quiet place, and we should do a quick little pan of the camp. I might do that here shortly.
Yeah.
But what was the question we were going to talk about? Didn't you have a question you came up with?
Why'd you get your license? What'd you do differently to do it again?
Interesting. Okay. So while I'm panning around, I'm going to start the we'll start with, it was your question, so We'll start. The question is, why'd you get your ham radio license, and if you had to do it all over again, would you?
So
You sat over there. Is it okay if I flip the camera over to you?
So I like had a bunch of friends who were into ham radio. They'd always walk in the room and go, "Hey, there's no code requirement anymore. You know, do you want to get your license?" And after hearing that for like 5 years, I was in Cambridge, and then the events of the Boston Marathon bombing happened, and so suddenly where everybody was like, "What's going on?" And the internet was an hour slower than radio. Yeah. So it was like, if you were there and if you knew what was going on in the police scanners, and you knew, or you had a scanner and you knew what was going on, then like, you know, you were getting more interesting, relevant information about what was actually happening. And that sort of was like, okay, like I see the use for this, so I'm going to go ahead and study and ham study, and walked in, and finally when somebody said, "Hey, do you want to do it? There's no code requirement." I'm like, "Yes."
Good.
And then I went and did it, so.
All right. Would you like to answer too?
Yeah, this one's fine.
Okay.
So I wanted to do my ham radio license when I was in college, and I didn't have time. And then we were doing it for off-road use. And then later in life, I was able to do it. I went out to Quartz Fest, and I was able to test there with 2 different VE teams, and I got my tech and my general. And then a year later, I got my extra, and I became a VE examiner about that time too. And I've been doing a lot of testing online, remotely, and in person even. So that's most of what I do because I'm so busy.
I think I heard you say it. You're a VE too, right?
Yes, I'm a VE. I'm with the ham radio crash course.
All right.
Yeah, Steve, K0TZ. When I was a kid, I was really into listening to radio. I had a great ears.
Oh, receiver.
Yeah, a little receiver.
You and I were talking. You're shortwave listening
yeah,
too.
and I lived in Louisiana at that time, so I used to hear a lot of stuff from the Gulf, a lot of oil platform stuff, even on a cheap radio like that. Well, when I got a little bit older, I got into electronics, and I built a couple of my first radios. And then I finally got a radio from Radio Shack. My grandparents bought it for me when I was probably like 13 or 14. And then I was really hooked, you know, listening.
Excellent.
I mean, that was kind of the classic period for commercial, or not commercial, but national shortwave stations. Used to be a lot of stuff to listen to. And then there were a lot of, you know, what we call utility stations, like those, you know, the offshore platforms. And I also listened to a lot of the amateur radio traffic back then. And back then there was a code requirement, and I just never knew how to learn code, so I never got my license. And then I don't know, as time went by, shortwave listening kind of died off when those big stations went away, and I just got away from radio. And yeah, really, I just realized it was actually I came across your channel in 2016.
Oh, cool.
Just, I don't even know how I got to it, but I watched a few episodes, a few of the live streams, and yeah, I just did it. I just went and did my technician, and then like 2 weeks later, I went back and got my general, and then about 3 weeks later, I went and got my extra. So within about a 5 or 6 week period, I knocked it out, and Yeah, I've been a ham since 2016.
That's fantastic. Nice. All right. Who wants? Oh, who wants to go next?
I'll go. Yeah, Robert, W60HJ. And that call sign actually belonged to my father, who was passed away. I wanted to keep the call sign in the family, but he was an advanced, so I had to get up there. So I studied for it, took my tech, and I aced the tech. And I hadn't studied for the general, but they said, hey, you did really good. You want to take the general? So I said, okay. And then I passed the general, and they said, hey, you did really good. You want to take your extra? Maybe, okay. And I took it, missed it by 1. And then I sort of let it go for, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years before I got around to studying for it, a couple more question groups later. But I did get my extra, got his call sign, and always been into electronics, so I kind of like the aspect of having a foolproof system that always works. I was in San Diego when the power went out, and we had no electricity for 18 hours. The cell phones went out, and ham radio is about all you've got on something like that. So I've joined up with some of the ARES groups, the emergency radio groups, and keep up on the nets.
Very good. All right. Ready?
My turn.
Yeah.
Austin, W4PBL. Really, I didn't get into ham radio until last year.
Oh, cool.
I joined the Navy back in 2014.
Yeah.
And became an electronics technician, and been into radars and communications since. So found out about ham radio through, honestly, your YouTube.
Oh, cool. Well, that's
So,
nice. Oh, well, thank you. Well, that's good. It's good for everybody. Yeah.
But yeah, it's close enough between Navy stuff and this.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. So.
Do you ever get to do any amateur radio in weird ports of call or weird locations? Do you ever like sneak an HF radio on? Like, can you do that if you go on the ship?
If you're on the ship, you would have to get the CO's permission to transmit. But,
Yeah.
I mean, there's times that you absolutely could.
Because you go off the ship contacts.
We could. You definitely could.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I see Shane back there. Shane's killing it on POTA right now. He took a break to be on the live stream. So Shane, what's your story?
My story?
Well, when did you get licensed, or how did you find out about it, and would you do it all over again?
So I got licensed in May of 2008. Went down to the local fire station in Los Osos, California, up in San Luis Obispo, and I got into amateur radio through actually my grandfather. My grandfather is a retired aerospace engineer from Rockwell, and he kind of introduced the idea to. He's not a ham himself, but he's heard about it. High school, 2008. Asked me. He said, "You ever thought about getting your ham radio license?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I've heard it's like a dying breed, or it's falling off." And the first thing he said, without missing, "You get your ham license?" I may, and after got the trooper, watching for a week to Bispo, and took our general class, general at the same time. It sure does.
Yep.
All right, we're having.
Because I just got promoted, that doesn't mean they can send all the bills to me.
I'm getting 100 megabit over here.
Dang.
Let's start to drop off.
Recording it, the playback.
9, 10, 9,
I've got first responder internet.
8.
I should set it
I
up.
do too, actually.
8.
What does that mean? First
There you go.
responder internet.
AT&T FirstNet.
Oh, FirstNet. Yeah.
Can you do multiple?
What's that?
Can you multiple? Can you?
No, I can't.
Oh yeah.
I have a mobile hotspot, Josh, for FirstNet.
So it's stabilized. I don't know what that's doing.
I'll see what I get.
So he said, Mike says, flame the grill again. It adds 10 dB to the hotspot.
Nice.
That's right.
Adam started doing some grill duty, helping out a little bit there. He's here though. Wait, let's continue. Let's see if we're semi solid again. So let's just keep rolling.
Yeah, I'm watching on T-Mobile, and it's good.
Okay,
Yep.
go for it. Yeah,
All right. I'm Mark, N7YMW.
you can project a little bit because you're the farthest away from the mic.
My wife says I'm loud anyway.
Yeah, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, I've been a ham radio operator since they got rid of the code in 1991. I think Don's got me beat. I got my ticket in 92 when I was back from deployment. I was in the Navy for 20 years, learned electronics there. My dad was an amateur radio operator, and I just kind of like geeking with radios, and spending a lot of money thanks to Josh pointing me out stuff. And,
Geeking with radios is the best.
Yeah. Hex beams are now 4 to 5 months out, and I'm on the wait list. Thanks, Josh.
Oh, so that's an interesting factoid. So live update, you found out, you put yourself on the list for the Buddy Hex?
Yeah, like a couple hours ago.
So Buddy Hex orders are how many months?
He said 4 to 5 months.
Field day, you...
Field day.
Never mind. All right, very good. Thank you for that, Mark. All right, Brooks, I'll get out in my block.
And just happened to stumble across the 1947 ARRL handbook in my science class. It sparked an interest and proceeded to go and get my general and advanced by 76. And it led to a career in electronics, and I'm getting close to retirement and have enjoyed every minute of it.
Excellent. And Brooks is one of our alumnus from the Thomas Mountain Affair, along with Tom, who's right here, too. All right. Next.
Phil, KF6IF.
There's Phil. Let me get you framed. Hold on. There we go. Okay.
Phil, KF6IF. My cousin got me interested in electronics. He did it as a genius. He took a little half-watt resistor, plugged it into a receptacle. It was switched. When he turned the switch and it blew up, I was hooked. So he talked about, he also likes shortwave listening. So he says, you have an AM radio? I said, yeah, I got an AM radio. He says, see these screws on this condenser? You turn those. And back then you could hear police calls, and you could also hear 80 meters because it was all AM. I was hooked for life. So ever since about 82, I've been in advanced class. So this is a hobby that you will never grow old with. You will love it all the time.
I fixed my AMC there. Thank you. All right, Tom and
Food is ready, so and it's hot.
And Conan.
So
And
you
Conan.
guys can-
Yep, Tom KN6IPZ. I got my license in April of 2020, mainly fueled by the off-road community because there was a lot of grumbling, talking about switching from CB to ham radio, so I figured I'd get ahead of it. And in the process, I stumbled across Josh's videos and kind of just went down the rabbit hole while studying and testing. And I'm the type of person that once I figure something out, I go on to the next, and it went from technician to general to FT8 to any like building antennas and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I just keep moving along, and it all happened very fast, and I really don't know how I got here. So
You drove here. That's right.
he drove here. That's right. Darren, you're working, but do you wanna answer?
Okay.
And then we're gonna make Adam do it too.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be as the opening act. I'm Darren, KN6 KTN.
I was over here, and I think I got singed.
There you go.
That
You got a Purple Heart.
was impressive that you brought that all back down. You didn't burn the whole place down. Good job. No, you started pulling stuff off. You got it. You got it. Thank you for that. Thank you for running the grill.
Yeah. So I got licensed 2020 for technical, 2021 for general. Looking to get my extra pretty soon, hopefully this year. HRCC was, and Josh was one of the first websites or YouTube channels that really connected and kind of gave me a lot of information to stay informed and excited about him. So, and it's just grown from there.
Well, thank you for joining us out here and taking care of the chicken. Appreciate it. And Adam.
Yeah, so I got started through Search and Rescue. I joined Search and Rescue in 2005, and in 2010, one of the guys on the team was getting his license and told me about it, and I was like, well, I want to learn more about how these radios we use work. So I got my license too, and I operated as a technician for I think about 5 years. I never thought I'd go beyond that. I was having fun talking on local repeaters. Never thought I would learn Morse code and operate CW. I figured that was a a dying art. And then I made a contact on 10 meters across the country, and I was hooked. And that was kind of the end of it. So upgraded to general, upgraded to extra, and Soda sucked me into learning Morse code after seeing a friend using the reverse beacon network to get auto spotted, and had this radio that fit, in the palm of his hand in his shirt pocket, and was talking way further than I could with my sideband radio. So I think a couple of things that I would say about getting licensed and upgrading is that number one, I was scared of ham radio a little bit because I'm a mechanical engineer and I don't understand the electrical side of things. But I've figured out a lot, and don't let your perceived weaknesses in yourself and in your knowledge about electronics and RF to stop you from exploring those places. You'll learn a ton in the process, and you'll have fun doing it. And you'll fail sometimes, but that's okay.
Failing's good. You learn more from failing.
You do, yeah. You learn a lot from failing.
Yeah.
You just find ways that don't work until you find the ways that do work.
That's right.
And then the other thing I would say is, and I think you had mentioned this recently, but have fun in the space you're in and enjoy what you're doing in the hobby. But don't rule out any other branches of the hobby. You might surprise yourself if you go down those branches and start playing and exploring things. There's a lot of fun, really a lifetime plus for.
I love that. Keep an open mind, Adam is saying. Well, I think I might be able to go phone mobile here, and I want to give you a quick pan of the. Yes, I can. All right, so we're gonna take a quick pan of this beautiful site we're at, and you can see it goes all the way. I gotta wait. Let me point the mic at me. The directional mic. All right, so it goes all the way out. The campsite goes all the way out that way. We got a lot of end feds. We got a big ears dipole. I'll walk a little bit further. Maybe someone will narrate for me. Narrate my video while I walk.
We have a DX Commander.
Delta loop.
Yeah, go ahead. Yell it at the mic.
You got a
Delta loop. DX Commander Classic, I think. And a couple of inverted Bs.
Wind River coils.
The Wolf River coils.
Wolf River coils.
And a super gain. Is it super? No. Super antenna?
Super antenna.
Super antenna M1.
MP1, I think they call it.
So there you go. We were able to do that at least with the video. So
it's the one behind the white truck, behind Hobby's truck there.
So I'll tell you what I did with the hotspot. I plugged it in. So I don't know why. It's got a full battery, but the second I plugged into USB-C, the hotspot started working perfectly. So we're stable, right? Is everybody good? It's good, right?
Yeah.
I think half of you guys are watching the live stream right now.
No wonder it's.
There was a super chat really quick. I want to say thank you to N7MYW. Thank you, Seamus.
Nice job.
So Seamus listens to the podcast, I know, because I think he's emailed us before. So thank you, Seamus. I appreciate that.
YMW. MYW. That's like
MYW. That's right.
I'm YMW.
I am using a Jetstream. It's on T-Mobile. It's not that fancy.
That's the one they gave me.
And I use a Wii Boost or a booster that it's literally just this little cradle it's on, and there's an antenna that's slapped on the steel roof. Oh, hey, another super chat from N1JUR Amateur Radio. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. So we're also doing some FT8. We've been making contacts this whole time, so appreciate you. I am running the Buddy Hex at 100 watts, having no issues getting out on that. I guess that's now a flex that I'm saying, oh, I've got a Buddy Hex. They're 4 months available. I will mention, too, there's a couple things we brought out. I have the new Stick X Pro. So this is it's basically the Stick Pro, but X model with the beige body. And this is the Type N connector because it goes up to 1,000 1 gigahertz, 1,000 megahertz. So pretty cool.
Is that a color screen or the E?
This is the pros are all color screen, and there you go. So thank you. Hiking and Hammond chow donation, since there's no such thing as a free chicken. Thank you, I appreciate that. There was another idea. Like, does anybody have like so I'll just go ahead and mention this too right up front. No after chat tonight, at least for me. If you all want to meet up on Discord and chat, totally recommend you do that. But I'm gonna hang out with all my friends here, so we'll likely just be eating dinner and having fun and talking radio once we wrap up the stream. With that said, how we doing? Yeah, we're slowly draining our battery, but we're gonna get through it. Is there any questions? I know people are getting food right now, so we'll wait a little bit. But are there any radio questions you guys have? We'll do live Q&A. We can do that in the chat too as well.
Hey, which is better, Adam's beam or the Buddy Hex?
Hey, Josh.
So we found that answer out actually. Yeah, Shane.
And it's Shane's.
What?
No, well, you said, hey, Josh, what?
Oh, yeah. So a friend of mine is trying to get into the chat, and it says hide chat in his. He said he's not able to type into that chat box. I'm not sure what he has to change, but he wants to get into the chat.
I don't. You know, he could just text you with his message if he has one.
That's true.
I don't. We're not gonna do live IT, guys. This is not live fix your computer chat. This is live ham radio chat. So Adam.
That's the Leo Laporte.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go back to phone so I can show you. Thank you, Sue.
I took the antenna down.
Thank you, Sue, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Oh, you took the antenna down?
Yeah, I'll bring over the phone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Why don't you do that if you can't? Sorry, Adam's eating, but Adam, how many elements?
Oh yeah.
Adam set up a 7-element beam on 10 meters, and if you saw our video at Thomas Mountain with the kind of cross telescopic poles, it kind of works on that principle. It's kind of similar to like a spider beam type setup. It's 7 elements on 10 meters. So he and I both made contacts to, which station was it in
ZL1WN, I think.
WN.
Ross.
ZL1 Whiskey November.
Yeah, everybody knows Ross.
Yeah, so we both made contacts. I made contacts on the NFED before I put up the Buddy Hex today. But here's your entire antenna.
Yeah. So it's less than 6 pounds.
Here, let me embiggen.
Oh.
There it is. Look at that.
So there are 4 18-foot telescopic poles. That's these longer ones. A shorter kind of parts of an old pole that I broke as a center vertical riser. And then all the wires, the stakes, the coax. I used 18 gauge wire for the elements, 18 gauge polystealth. And this is the 3D printed rotator that needs a little work still. I did have some problems with this having enough
Need the belt drive.
security. Yeah,
There's a belt drive.
the belt drive's good.
That's super cool.
It's the junction between the hub up here, which holds the 4 poles.
Yeah.
And then
It's loose. It's spinning free.
it's spinning on it if you put enough torque on it. And when you've got an 18-foot pole sticking off both ends of this, it's a 36-foot
It's like a pound?
boom. So
It's about a pound.
pound and a half, yeah,
Pound and a half.
something like that.
That's super cool. You designed this?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
So, but with that said, so what is the verdict on the, what are you calling this? The Atom.
It's just my 7-element 10-meter Yagi.
What a great name.
Yeah.
You have a compelling ad team working with you on that one.
That's right. So we did a little test right after I worked ZL1WN. I think that's his call. The number might be wrong, but Ross.
Yeah.
The loud guy from New Zealand that
Super
always
loud.
has a huge signal because he's got a 45-foot boom, 7-element beam, and probably a kilowatt. So he gave me a 5.7 signal report. And then I came over here and I was like, hey, I need somebody to make a contact with Ross on the Buddy Hex.
Which we did. Oh, that's right. We did. Who did it?
Yeah, Tom.
Tom did it. Yeah.
So I was like, we got to see what signal report he gets.
And what did we find?
He got a 5.5.
Yeah.
So when it comes to a gain antenna, more elements is better. Who knew?
Could have just been the QSB at the time. Who knows? But
I'm sure
it made me feel good anyway.
But obviously the Buddy Hex is multi-banded. Adam's antenna is 10 meters, but 7 elements. Also, you have a very good front to back ratio, right?
About 20 dB front to back.
That's killer.
Yeah.
So
it was good fun. So this will be out again, I'm sure, after some modification of the hub to make it work better.
And you generally post your 3D prints online too, right?
I usually do. I actually have been working on a rotator like this design that's kind of more versatile and global for a variety of antennas to post and share, because I think there'd be a lot of interest in something like this for 2-meter Yagis and 6 meter, maybe even 2-3 element 10 meter. It's really pushing limits on this for a 7 element, but we'll make it work.
I totally lost my train of thought.
So yeah,
it's alive. Hey,
bottom line, I will share one of these rotator designs in the future with all the parts and bill of materials you need, kind of like my other 3D stuff.
So we do have a question. Did anyone bring bandpass filters, or has been just one antenna in use at a time, or just let it run? And if there's crosstalk, just work around it. Well, I think everybody can actually comment on that. Does anybody want to say anything on that? So we're kind of spread out decently. I mean, you saw the furthest ones, I don't know, what was that, like 50, 70 feet, 60 feet, something like that.
There was some RFI in there, but it was manageable.
Yeah. So
well, I stepped on Shane this morning.
He did.
He did. He got smaller.
Oddly, so what happens? That was good. What happens is you start transmitting, and then FT8's on the same band as you, and then all of a sudden you realize it's not going to work. So if you jump bands, and it's fine. It's not a big deal. We're not like, there's not some board that we're writing like band slots or anything like that. It's very ad hoc kind of running. I tried to buy a pentaplexer or some kind of, plexing device for the Buddy Hex so that we could run multiple stations here. Those are like unobtainium right now. I have a call out to DX Engineering to get one along with the bandpass filters, but most of the time, if it's just me at a campout, like I'll just run the Buddy Hex and I'm good. But when we have this many people having multiple operating positions that could all be localized, like right here with a couple of solar panels, that would be the best. But that didn't work out. So maybe that's the idea for next year's live stream, wherever we decide to go camping. But yeah.
Hey, Josh?
Yeah.
John, my
You're
friend,
getting too close.
wants to know how long you've been a ham hog.
Can I give him some?
I was, oh yeah, I didn't even answer the question. I was licensed in 2007, and that came on the heels of me going to work for Boeing. I was working on a satellite communication ground system, and the lab manager there was a ham, Richard Crum, shout out to you, and he said, you're basically in so many words basically said, yeah, you're a nerd, come check out this nerd stuff. So we got in the car, and he on a lunch break we drove to Anaheim HRO, and that was the first day I met Billy Bob, as you all know, and he sold me my Yaesu FT60.
Nope.
That is literally how I became a ham after I took the test in Cypress, California. But I was introduced to amateur radio from a Scoutmaster, and then about Scoutmaster was when I was introduced to it. He didn't do the greatest job of explaining like what he was doing, but what he, the magical, wizardry of using a device and talking. He's like, oh, I'm talking to that mountaintop, and I'm like, okay, what does that mean exactly? The mountain, never-ending story. The mountains are talking to me.
Smaller mountain, same maneuver.
But anyway, so yes, I found out about it through scouting. When I got licensed, I was just the repeater masher guy. I always tried to see how far of a repeater I could hit. Catalina Island repeater system, I was talking on there a lot. Shout out to K9KAO. I actually know Henry.
Oh,
that goes back years, and Henry fixed the plumbing in my house. But what hooked me was when I found APRS and contact here. Once I got into APRS, that kind of then opened the door to how do I get a better signal to a DigiP